Mythbusters number 2, Home Buyers Edition, coming at you right now. Dave and I are going to answer the hard questions that Jeff is going to pose to us. What is the very first question, Jeff? Make it easy, please.
Myth number 1, you cannot buy a home if you have bad credit.
Whoa, Dave.
You cannot buy a home if you have bad credit. That's a good question. How bad's your credit, though?
If it sucks, you can't buy a home. It's not entirely true, because if you've got awesome parents with good credit, with a big down payment, anybody can buy a home. But should you buy a home if you have bad credit? Probably not. If I'm being really fair about it, you have to afford the payment. And if you have bad credit, you're going to pay a higher interest rate than most people are. So the reality is this: pay off your bad debt, pay off your credit card, get your finances in order, then start saving some money, and then buy a house. Do not buy yourself a house if you are in financial distress. I've literally run into this in a neighborhood where there was a salesperson in new construction, this is a long time ago, where they were jamming them into houses with bad credit. And guess what? 6 weeks, 6 months, 1 year later, I would get the phone call. Those people had to sell their houses again, and there was no equity in them.
Yeah, and you know what I would do is if, let's say that you've got bad credit, but you really want to buy a house. Go see a financial planner. Talk to them about how you can improve your credit, because there's different things that you can do to improve your credit.
Yep.
So put together a plan, work on it. Over time, your credit will go up, and then you'll be in a much better position to buy a house down the road.
It's a great point. In fact, we've met folks who've had bad credit, and we've sat down with them, and then we've introduced them to a mortgage specialist and a financial planner. And in a couple of cases, not every case, we're being fair, 2 years, 3 years later, they've come back to us and we've been able to serve them. So it does work, but at the end of the day, you do need to have your finances in order. So is this myth busted? Yes. But is it a bad idea? Yes.
Myth number 2, renting is cheaper than buying.
Dave, you just lived this.
Renting is cheaper than buying. So is renting cheaper than buying? No, not anymore.
So sometimes the payment can be slightly lower, but at the end of the day, when you spend that money, all of that money is gone at the end of the month. There's no equity, there's no return on investment on that money. Quite frankly, your landlord loves this. So the reality is this: when you buy a home, there is a portion that goes to interest payment, but there's also a portion that goes to principal. So you're paying your house down over time. So even though, say, your rent might be, say, $2,500, and you might be buying a home and it might be $2,700, you're probably going to have $300 or $400 or $500 going straight to principal. The other thing that happens when you own a house, you're also going to see appreciation over time. And that really has been proven literally over the last 10 decades that houses appreciate. So it also becomes an investment that you enjoy, and at the same time, you are creating that maximum return on your money. But beyond that, of course, it has the emotional value of being your home that nobody can take you out of. But at the end of the day, renting, absolutely not cheaper than buying. That is a busted myth.
Myth number 3, you don't need to use a realtor when you're buying a home.
You don't need to use a realtor when you're buying your home. Well, you don't need to, but you should. Let me tell you about a closing that I'm working on right now. So the house does not have sodding complete that's supposed to be completed by closing day. So that's grass.
Why did you need sod?
We needed sod because the sewer line needed to be replaced.
Why did you check the sewer line?
The sewer line was checked because we should check the sewer line to make sure that there's not going to be
when I'm buying a
backlog.
house, come on, man. Like, I don't need a realtor for that. You don't need advice on that. Did this happen to be a Dartmouth neighborhood and notorious for bad sewers?
Yes, Peter, it was.
Oh, you mean we add some value?
Yes.
What would that problem have cost the buyer if we didn't figure that out for them?
Oh, that would have been at least a $10K problem.
10 grand. Oh, come on. I could save a little money on the commission. I've heard that all the time, man.
Yes, that's what you think, Peter.
Oh, okay. So sod, sewer, anything else go wrong with that particular one?
Yeah, so because they were replacing the sewer, we hadn't been able to test water till today, so we tested water today.
Oh, and that went well?
Well, we had a leaky pipe.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so we gotta invite a plumber over at some point, so there's gonna be a cost to that.
Okay.
And then also thirdly, we decided to test the heat and the furnace wouldn't turn on.
Oh, furnace. Great.
Yeah.
Those are really cheap, eh?
Negative, Peter. They're extremely expensive.
All right. So that just happened today, and,
Yeah.
and you're solving those problems.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, like this is absolutely, quite frankly, what's happening today in our life. Our reality is this: we are your guide through your process. When things are smooth, of course, you don't need us. We're just guiding you, and quite frankly, we're consistently trying to make sure that the process does stay smooth for you. It's the same thing. At the end of the day, you could, if you're in good enough shape, climb Mount Everest on your own. But at the end of the day, the best climbers in the world still get a Sherpa, or 2 Sherpas or 3 Sherpas to guide them up the hill so that they can get back down in one piece. And that's really what we do. We take the risk out of climbing the mountain and purchasing your home, so that when the difficult moments happen, you have the guide to get you through, so you can not just survive, you can thrive, buy your new home, and have a great experience. This myth is not busted, but don't bust it at your own risk.
That does it for episode 2 of Real Estate Mythbusters. See you next time.